Hey everybody, welcome back to Lettermen Row. I am Austin Ward. That's Zach Boren. We are getting set for the national championship game. Zach, sometimes it's hard to believe that this is where the Buckeyes are right now, considering in August there wasn't going to be a season at all. But here we are, a couple days away from Ohio State and Alabama in the title game that I think everybody in college football wanted and got.
Man, this is the two top dogs going toe-to-toe, right? I mean, everyone wants to talk about Clemson, Alabama, and Ohio State, but let's be honest, it's really Alabama and Ohio State that's leading the pack in all of college football, and this is the heavyweight battle that everyone wants to see. They want to see Nick Saban and that Mac Jones and Devontae Smith offense go up against this defense that shut down Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, and so, man, I'm excited about this game. I know all of college football is excited about this game. Let's be honest, this is probably the two best fan bases in all of college football with Buckeye Nation and the Alabama Crimson Tide. I was down at the Sugar Bowl in 2014 when they played. Man, it was one hell of an atmosphere. And granted, it's not going to be a sold-out Hard Rock Stadium, but I know this game is going to be absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's certainly unfortunate that I think 16,000 will be where they cap the tickets. You know that place would be jam-packed for those two fan bases. Especially to see as many NFL players, NFL talent players that will be on display. And that starts for Ohio State in the trenches. Now, think back to October and maybe even early November, and there were questions. We were getting it all the time, Zach. Where's the pass rush for Ohio State? Where are the sacks? Really from start to finish, the Rushmen have been excellent. Now, the stats for sacks may not show it, but I think Ohio State at that point, even early on, was getting pressure on something like 53% of dropbacks. And you can ask Trevor Lawrence, even if you can escape a sack, you're definitely going to feel it the longer a game goes when you're dealing with Jonathan Cooper, Haskell Garrett, Tommy Togiai, Tyreek Smith, and some others coming off the bench. Those guys were absolutely difference makers yet again.
Yeah, let's be honest. The sacks are kind of the stats that everyone wants to pin their ears back and go, right? Those are the stats that are the flashy ones that the fan base wants to look at and say, how many times are we getting after this guy, Chase Young? How many sacks are you getting in a game, right? That's what I want to talk about last year, and we broke it down all the time.
Right.
But that matters most is how much pressure you put on that quarterback, right? If you're only getting 3 sacks and you're only getting 3 pressures a game, right, it's not going to affect the quarterback as much. And so what you saw this past Friday night with Trevor Lawrence feeling the pressure, feeling that pocket collapsing, so to speak, that's really where you make a difference. When a quarterback can't feel like he can step into a throw and get the ball down the field, that's where you make a difference, and like the sexiness of the sacks is great and all, but really it comes down to the pressure. And this defensive line, week in and week out, and I know everyone's been questioning it all year, but week in and week out, these guys have been putting pressure on those quarterbacks and really getting after them, even if the stats for a sack aren't all the way there this year.
And I think that you saw that with the game on the line in that second half when Clemson clearly had to throw, and they did. I mean, they threw for 400 yards. They were able to move the football at times, but when Ohio State had to make plays and they had to, put the secondary in position, the front four is what does that. And we're going to break that down here in a minute, but that's even more key because what the skill players for Alabama, what Mac Jones can do if he gets time. You're going to win some matchups against the secondary over the course of a game. It's just going to happen when you have such good players, but you need to get a couple critical stops, in a game that could be a shootout, and that's going to start with the pass rush.
Yeah, when you've got guys like Rodgers for Clemson, especially this week with Devontae Smith with Alabama, they're gonna complete passes. They're gonna make some big plays, some electric plays. But if that defensive line can get after the quarterback and make him feel uncomfortable, especially Mac Jones, where he really hasn't felt uncomfortable all year long, if they can do that, that's the deciding factor. This defense line has taken it upon themselves week in and week out, and they really took it upon themselves this past Friday to really be the game changers in that ball game, knowing that Trevor Lawrence was electric, knowing that Rodgers on the outside was electric, Powell was electric. That same kind of athleticism, the same kind of firepower that Clemson had, they're going to see against Alabama this next Monday night. And yes, you're going to win some one-on-one matchups on the outside. We know it. As a cornerback and wide receivers are going to make some plays, right? Especially if you've got great quarterbacks throwing the football to them. Defensive line needs to step up, needs to be the deciding factor. And I think you saw late in that game, what I love is really when Ohio State knew they clinched that game, you saw that defensive line take off and get after Trevor Lawrence. And especially on that fourth down, man, the celebration afterwards, and you just saw every D lineman standing right over Trevor Lawrence and celebrating together. That's when you know that defensive line is just feeling it, and they're going to have to be feeling it this next Monday night.
All right, the Rushmen got it done when it mattered most to beat Clemson in the Sugar Bowl. Another big test looming against Alabama. Zach's going to break down right now what Ohio State has to do up front. Let's roll the tape. All right, Zach, here's the situation. You can't get too comfortable ever with Clemson. It's still a 3-touchdown game at this point, but this is when there was enough time where maybe Clemson could make it interesting. They're driving, and then the front four, and then with an assist from Baron Browning later on in this drive, gets it done. They come up with the stops the Buckeyes needed.
Yeah, I really thought this was the most important drive of the game. As I'm sitting here watching, like you said, it's 21 points. But if Clemson scores right here and it gets within 14, it's kind of like, you start thinking of momentum a little bit. But, man, that defensive line got after Trevor Lawrence on this drive. And you can see right here, Jonathan Cooper coming off the outside. That guy's got no chance. Tyreek Smith pinning his ears back against Jackson Carman. But if you run this back a little bit, you can see this defense line take over. And everyone wants to talk about the pocket Trevor Lawrence has. Look at, if you stop it right there, you can see where the line of scrimmage is. Look where the defensive line is pushing these guys back. Trevor Lawrence is backtracking this entire time. You can see this is where he's supposed to set up on the 40 right here, a little fake, and he's supposed to set up and be able to maybe take 1 or 2 steps back and go. But look, he sees the pressure. He feels the pressure. There is no way he can sit here in this pocket, set his feet, and throw the football. And you can see this defense line just getting after Trevor Lawrence. Tyreek Smith, man, had a monster day. This is what the defensive line brought each and every play on Friday night.
And what I thought was most impressive about this drive, it's like obviously they needed the stop, but we didn't even talk about it in the open. Tyler Friday and Zach Harrison were both unavailable, and we know how much Larry Johnson likes to rotate. But this is the fourth quarter. Jonathan Cooper and Tyreek Smith have had to play more reps, more snaps than they have probably in any game in their careers, and they looked like it was the first quarter. They were – I don't know if it was the motivational fuel from Dabo or what, just maybe the stakes. These guys poured it all out.
Well, that's what I was about to say. It's that fuel, man. These guys pin their ears back. They train every single day with Coach Marotti just for times like this. Fourth quarter, and they are just – that Clemson offense line did not want it anymore. At Ohio State, we call it checkmate. They're done. They want nothing to do with playing anymore. And these guys, you can just see it. That defense line was feasting on these offensive linemen. As you could just tell, they were trying to do everything to go in survival mode, and these defensive linemen were tasting blood trying to get after Trevor Lawrence.
All right, you get into this situation. After that, they recovered the fumble, and then Ohio State goes a little safe here, 2nd and 23. You can tell that they're just don't give up the big play and then hope to get into third down.
Yeah, you can totally tell. Like, this is what we talked about previously. Is you just don't give up the big play. Listen, you know Trevor Lawrence is a great quarterback. You play off a little bit. Guess what? You give up a little in route. Guess what? Make the tackle. Goes to 3rd and 8. That's perfect. Let's go. Let's play ball. 3rd and 8, make a big stop. Let's get off the field.
All right, and you know as well as anybody, those bells normally go off. 3rd down, that's the money down.
Money down, man, and this is where the defensive line come to play. You see they run a little twist stunt with Tyreek Smith and Haskell Garrett. They're getting pressure. Look where, if you run that back for a second and you stop it right here, look at this. Look where the line of scrimmage is again. Look where these guys are. They are pushing these Clemson offensive linemen 7-8 yards back into Trevor Lawrence's lap. Haskell Garrett gets his big bear claw up and freaking knocks the ball down. This is what frustrates the quarterback the most. When he is backtracking the entire time, has to throw off his back foot, and then gets these balls batted down. I mean, look at this. He can just feel the pressure. The little twist game right here. I love it with Haskell Garrett and Tyreek Smith. Tyreek Smith gives him a little out fake, comes back to underneath. The guard's gonna come off, but Jackson Carman's got no idea what's going on here. Haskell Garrett gets his right hand into Jackson Carman's chest. You can see Jackson Carman's on his back foot, leaning back, and he gets his left hand up and knocks the ball down. But man, look at that pocket. Trevor Lawrence has nothing to do. That's what he had all day. Look at that. Throws the ball and runs into the back of it in this follow through. Runs in the back of the Clemson offensive lineman.
Yeah, that was not the finest performance of Jackson Carman's career, and I know there's been a lot of talk about him getting away from Ohio State and him being a potential first-round draft pick. He certainly didn't look like it on Friday night against these guys. I mean, here's the prime example. Baron Browning, he's passed him before Jackson Carman even has his head up.
The thing about Jackson Carman, the scouting report going into him is he's a lazy pass blocker. And I think you saw this, especially once they got down. Jackson Carman couldn't turn into a road grader. He's a very good run blocker, but when it comes to pass pro, he's very lazy, bad with his hands, bad with his feet, and you can see it right there. When Clemson had to throw the football, and Jackson Carman's their best offensive line, supposedly their best offensive lineman, but a terrible pass blocker, that defensive line goes back to what I said, start tasting blood again. And you can see all these guys. They said, we're bringing 5-on-5. Let's go. All you guys, one-on-one blocks, and we're going to straight up get after you. Baron Browning with some great pressure. Jonathan Cooper right there in Trevor Lawrence's face. And then Tyreek Smith comes back around, makes the play. I mean, Trevor Lawrence can do absolutely nothing in this moment.
All right, that's what the Buckeyes are going to need a lot more. If you're going to win a national championship, you're going to do it up front. Zach Boren, as always, breaking it down for us on Lettermen Row for BuckIQ. I'm Austin Ward. For Zach, we will see you next time at LettermenRow.com.